So very recently, there's been a test of Russian uh, nuclear run missiles, which could be in the air for 15 hours or something. There was just nuclear powered uh, ballistic missiles. It's the new Oreshnik, basically. Russia is saber rattling about basically it's. I think it also did a test of the readiness of the nuclear triad submarines, ballistic missile launchers, and air capability. It did also that, I think. So Putin put on his military garb. He did a whole spiel about the tests. And I think because Donald Trump's response to that was inappropriate in the face of the negotiations, he did not like that. So I think that is my personal opinion because everybody has been blindsided by this. I don't think it is as shocking as it seems. I just simply think that Trump felt slighted and he felt he needed to retaliate in kind with a proportional reaction not to seem weak. So it led to this. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office because Trump is responsible for everything, always, everywhere. There were zero nuclear weapons in the American stockpiles until the Trump's first term when he, of course, renewed and rebuilt everything. That is well known. Many people say this. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to Russia's saber rattling, and Russia's saber rattling because it is not happy with how the negotiations are going. It's not happy with the sanctions. It wants to send a subtle message of, hey, we still have the nukes. We still want to keep our advantage of the escalation ladder. Do not do anything rush. Do not actually give Ukraine any support, or we might have to do something stupid or something extreme. You are forcing our hand, etc., etc. You know the drill. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. There you go. Russia is second and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years because of other countries' testing programs. I have no clue how much testing China actually does. I know that North Korea is conducting tests. And some people claim that the recent Russia tests were not really even nuclear tests because there was no nuclear explosion involved. There was no nuclear explosion involved, and it was, technically speaking, just testing a nuclear run. Just it runs on nuclear power. It's not a it does not have it did not involve detonate using it. Okay, it did not uh, involve a nuclear weapon exploding. Oh, I still believe in the escalation ladder thing. The death of Philip Augustus, I used to believe in the escalation ladder thing early in the war. I still believe in it. It's just that Russia has been given absolute dominance in that escalation ladder. The West definitely believes in it because it has given in to Russia time and time and time again on that escalation ladder. So, technically speaking, some countries say that the testing by Russia recently has not been true nuclear testing because no detonation of nuclear warheads have been involved. And also the critics to what Trump is saying here, to Trump saying there should be tests, is that the United States actually does not need to do live tests of nuclear weapons because the United States have very dependable mathematical models that it bases its testing on. The United States is actually testing, but it's not testing the nuclear capacity through actual detonations and actual in the field tests because it does not have to. There are very dependable mathematical models for that adopted by the United States, which is why the last nuclear testing conducted by the United States have been something like 30 years ago, 3 decades ago. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis, which is, again, a knee-jerk reaction. Russia did something, we must do it back. It's silly, especially as I've explained, the United States does not really need to conduct live tests. It's just a form of cyber rattling on the part of Trump. It's cyber rattling towards Russia as well as China. Hey, we are nuclear ready as well. And it kind of disturbs me because it basically just means that Russia is not, it's, we're entering the era of nuclear saber rattling. That is what is happening. And it is pretty disturbing to see. Let's read the rest of this thing. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention. Okay. This is the typical ending to Trump's thing. So yeah, what this amounts to is nuclear cyber rattling by Trump. Because again, the United States does not need to conduct live tests to further its nuclear development. You can do all these things based on virtual models. There's a very real, tangible reason why the United States has not been conducting these tests for over 3 decades now. It's all a reaction to a slight, to a perceived slight by Donald Trump because Russia has done their own tests, which again, I will remind that by some people it is considered not to be real actual tests. This has been done in very close proximity to the United States enacting the actually let's see. Trump calls Russia tests in nuclear powered missiles. Russia's Buravetsnik missile, which is the next Oreshnik. There you go. Trump described Russia's new cruise missile test as not. This is why he decided to do the whole testing crap. This is exactly it. Trump described Russia's new cruise missiles test as not appropriate. Donald Trump has described Vladimir Putin's announcement of a nuclear-powered cruise missile test as not appropriate amid growing tensions between Moscow and Washington. Putin said on Sunday that Russia has successfully tested its unique nuclear-capable Buravetsnik cruise missile, which the Kremlin described as part of efforts to ensure the country's national security. Again, Putin has done all of this song and dance. This missile is not be able to be intercepted. It's a super powerful missile. We have developed this super cool super weapon. Fear us. We are indestructible. We will do what we must. This is like Oreshnik has lost its appeal. Nobody cares about Oreshnik anymore. So Russia had to roll out the next big thing, and that next big thing is this new missile. And so they conducted tests of it. That is all that there is to it. And Trump basically had a knee-jerk reaction because he felt slighted, right? Let's pull up the Guardian article that I'm reading. Let's pull up that Guardian article that I have here. It's all very reactive politics, if you ask me. When asked on Monday by reporters on board Air Force One about Russia's nuclear missile test, Trump said Putin should focus on ending the war with Ukraine rather than testing missiles. And then he just sort of turned around and said, "Oh, Russia is conducting tests? Well, then we have to conduct tests double or whatever." It's just silly. It is not really well thought out politics, but what do you expect from Donald Trump? You should not expect well thought out politics from Donald Trump by any stretch of the imagination. That is definitely not what you're gonna get from him. That is definitely not what you're gonna get. Trump said the US had a nuclear submarine right off their shores that did not need to travel such distances. We test missiles all the time, he added. Well, not nuclear ones. A day earlier, wearing military fatigues, at a meeting with Russia's top generals, Putin hailed the missile as a breakthrough, just like he said that about Oreshnik in the past. It is truly a unique weapon, one that no other country in the world possesses. Of course, it's all about waving of the dick. He said ordering preparations to build the infrastructure needed to bring the system into military service, just like with Oreshnik. Oreshnik was supposed to be unbeatable. Oreshnik was supposed to be a threat not just to Ukraine but to Europe. It's all the same song and dance, but with newer and newer missiles, with newer Oreshniks, so to speak. Very silly business, but very effective against the West, no less. Very effective. Yeah. Russia's chief of general staff, Valery Gerasimov, told Putin that the test had taken place on Thursday. The missile flying over 8,700 miles over 15 hours. And they said that it's not the upper limit, that it go for longer than that. And they notified the US in advance. Putin first unveiled the invincible Borovetsnik in 2018, claiming it had an almost unlimited range and could evade US missile defenses. No one wanted to listen to us, so listen now, he said at the time. Russia's nuclear-powered cruise missile, Borovetsnik, isn't invincible. I mean, whatever, I don't have to say that.
So Russia now responding after President Trump called for the U.S. to resume nuclear testing, with the Kremlin saying, quote,
There's a response from the Kremlin, so I guess this is going to be folded into the segment about Trump asking for nuclear tests, and by asking, demanding, I mean.
All countries are developing their defense systems, but this is not a nuclear test. If someone abandons the moratorium, Russia will act accordingly.
There you go. This is why it was important for me to know that many people said that the test by Russia was not a real nuclear test because no nuclear explosions were involved. That is exactly why I said that, because now Russia can say, hey, the US is actually testing, well then we're gonna actually test as well.
Joining us now is retired four-star general, Fox News senior strategic analyst, chairman of the Institute of the Study for War, General Jack Keane. General, what's your reaction to the president saying what he said, be the first time since '92 we test, and Russia's response?
Yeah, well, it's been speculation for years, Brian, that Russia and China are secretly testing nuclear warheads. Whether that's a fact or not remains to be seen. I mean, certainly Trump, our president, gets classified information, whether that's a reality or not. But I also think that what's likely happening here is Russia just recently announced that the testing of delivery systems.
Yep, the testing of the nuclear-powered missiles.
A cruise missile and an underwater drone.
Yeah. Not
the warhead, the delivery systems of a potential warhead itself. And the president may be reacting to something like that. Listen, we're the
I think that's true. I already said before on today's stream that that is my theory on what is happening with the testing.
The president is on nuclear warheads and nuclear weapons is he wants to see a de-escalation of it. He wants to see a reduction of it. He's not looking for any escalation of this whatsoever. And, he's attempted to bring China and Russia together to work towards that end, and China has stiffed that process entirely. And as we all know, Russia is increasing their nuclear weapons, particularly their tactical nuclear weapons. So I think more to follow on here on the pathway ahead.
The president says, I give it a 12 out of a 1 to 10 scale. His meeting with President Xi. They didn't really bring up Taiwan. I know that's a big focus of our war games and our worries.
There you go.